Good afternoon, Director Wray. Director, how many sworn special agents are there currently in the United States?
You mean outside the FBI?
Oh, no, in the FBI.
Just in the FBI? I think we have about 14,000 or so FBI special agents.
And they are spread across field offices and resident agencies in the U.S. and in some cases around the world. Is that right?
Yes.
All right. Now, as a former federal prosecutor and judge, I've had the opportunity to work with a number of men and women of the FBI from my home state. And one thing that I know and that we've heard in your testimony today is that you all have very broad responsibilities. Is it correct to say that the FBI, among other things, investigates counterterrorism, counterintelligence, cybercrime, public corruption, civil rights offenses, transnational organized crime, violent crime, and domestic terrorism?
And then other things as well,
Yes.
but yes.
Yes. And in addition to that, would you agree with the statement that the Bureau provides important support to local law enforcement agencies around the country on those subjects and others?
I would say indispensable support, and something I hear about. I'm talking with chiefs and sheriffs probably every week in this job since I've started, and if there's one refrain I hear from them consistently is, keep it coming, we need it, can you give us even more help? That's what I hear from them.
Now, I'd like to focus on the subject of domestic terrorism today. And when we talk about domestic terrorism, the Bureau's work includes investigating and bringing to justice those who would do profound harm to the homeland, given the opportunity. And the Bureau has been involved in cases involving hate crimes, violent extremists, and even some of our country's most notorious criminals, like Timothy McVeigh and Ted Kaczynski. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, and of course there are many such individuals who have plans to do harm to our homeland that America never hears about because you successfully intercept and prevent before those incidents occur.
Yes, in fact, one of the things that I think people would be surprised to know, because terrorism is not as much in the news as it was during the era when I was serving in the Bush administration in the 9/11 era, but we have, just since I've been director, disrupted attacks against a July 4th parade in Ohio, any number of attacks against churches and other houses of worship, an attempted attack, a plot to attack a hospital during COVID, the pier in San Francisco in sort of a peak tourism moment, a crowded beach during Memorial Holiday. And these are not all domestic terrorism. Some of them are, and that's important for people to know, some of these are jihadist-inspired terrorist attacks too, and that has not gone away, even though a lot of the public discussion has been about domestic terrorism.
And so here's what I'm hoping you can help us reconcile today. So we know that there are a limited number of agents, a limited number of resources, and a vast responsibility to prevent a broad array of very serious offenses. And what I'd like to do with that in mind is turn your attention to the decision within the Bureau to use investigative resources to investigate and surveil parents who attended school board meetings for the purpose of sharing their concerns about the nature of their children's education and the efficacy of the policies that were being implemented by school boards around the country. Is it correct that in 2021, the FBI created a threat tag specifically designed to identify parents attending school board meetings?
Yes, but I think it's important for people to understand what a threat tag is and is not. It is not what we base investigations on. It's not an investigative tool. It's an administrative function in our system, and it doesn't change anything about how we investigate, tools we use, any of our longstanding standards for predication.
But in those
and you mentioned the whole
circumstances,
resource allocation question.
it is correct, is it not, however, that agents surveilled, that agents did in fact surveil and investigate certain parents who were attending school board meetings?
No, ma'am, that's actually not correct. We opened 25 assessments into reports that were tagged, but none of those involved incidents at school board meetings. And to my knowledge, the FBI has not opened investigations on any parent for exercising speech at school board meetings.
Would you be concerned that to do so would be an infringement or perhaps a chilling on the First Amendment rights of parents to participate freely and openly in those meetings? Do you believe that would be an appropriate function of the Bureau?
I believe that our mission is to protect the American people and uphold the Constitution. And the uphold the Constitution part is very important to me and to our people. And I will say to you the same thing I said to all 56 of our field offices as soon as I read that memo, which is the FBI is not and has never been in the business of policing or investigating speech by parents at school board meetings, and we're not about to start now. We're going to keep doing what we've been doing, and that includes when there's violence, threats of violence, we're going to work with our state and local partners, as we always have on that, and following our normal procedures and our normal investigative steps and our normal standards for predication.
Thank you, Director Wray. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
The lady yields back. The gentleman from Colorado is recognized.